Hi, Sharon.
Hi,
Sharon.
Debbie. Yeah.
Hi.
You can call me Sharon. It's okay.
Yeah? Okay. So I'm sitting here in Israel and you there in England. And we normally have our weekly or bi-weekly meetings and we plan to record an episode for our podcast this week. And obviously we didn't do it. Nobody was in the mood and we couldn't even think about it. But we decided today, which is the sixth day to the war that's going on here in Israel, to spend a few minutes and speak to one another like this and record the conversation. And use our platforms, our podcast to spread the word. And, if people want to hear what it's like in Israel and what it's like being an Israeli, living outside of Israel, maybe, they'll get a better sense of what everybody's going through. And it's not normal. It's a type of civil advocacy, I guess, but it's a little bit different from a different angle. It's got nothing to do with our businesses. What else? Oh, we wanted to say wine video. Do you want to explain that?
Wine video and wine English, because
Okay,
people
you do
don't
that.
usually used to
That's right.
hearing us speak like that. So
Right.
wine video, because we want to provide a different view and to show our faces, to show what it's like to go through this period in time, and just to see what we can get out of it in regards to what we can share, how we can show the situation besides speaking, besides letting people
Yeah.
hear our voices, to do it on
Yeah.
a different platform, even in our YouTube channels or whatever. Um, and why in English? Because I believe most of the people, including my friends and family back in Israel, don't really ever get the chance to hear me speak English, besides the people who know me here. And the people here, our friends, our community, they don't really get a chance to see me speaking to another Israeli, another person living in Israel, going through the same situation as we are going through here.
And in English.
And in English. So,
So we basically, when we were thinking about what to say, is mostly to talk about our feelings and to describe a little bit what the day-to-day is like on my end and on your end, and a little bit about how we're both self-employed. We run our own small businesses and what it's like at this time to be basically without work, which is fine. It really isn't the most important thing, but at some point you start thinking about it because everything else, carries on ticking, the accounts and everything else. So shall we start with just, talk about our feelings of them these days, how we're able to even, function, sleep, eat, what it's like there.
what it's like here. First of all, I have to say, as I said before, I feel like physically I'm here in England, but in my heart, in my mind, I'm back in Israel. I'm watching news all day long in Hebrew, trying to mediate to the kids some of the information we receive, not all, as you can understand, and I'm trying to be a member of the community here, trying to support other Israelis living here, try to support my family back in Israel. But it's really hard. And we keep hearing stories about our family members. We have some of them who had to leave
I've
their
suffered
home,
losses.
who suffered losses. And we can hear it from all the people we know back in Israel. I don't think there's one Israeli not impacted by this situation.
Absolutely.
And the feelings are hard. I have to tell you, the first few days, I'm sure most Israeli can empathize with this. We couldn't even function. We couldn't even set up dinner or breakfast or whatever. It was hard getting out of bed.
Just difficult to sleep.
Difficult to sleep, difficult to talk to the kids. Whenever I try to talk to the kids and try to explain why mom and dad are crying, are staying in the room, staying in the bed, not really able to speak, just watching television in Hebrew, trying to catch up with the news, it's really hard.
And your kids are pretty young.
And my kids are young, yeah. So, and they don't really know what is a terrorist. They've been living here for the past 3 years, so for them, the reality that they know is English. They don't really know what it is to be in a war, to be in a state that is constantly being attacked by other people.
Lucky for them.
They don't know the difference between being a Jew and being an Israeli and being a person of the world and the person who is connected to many friends and families and communities distant from where we are. What's it like for you?
Yeah, on our side, we're obviously here in the middle of Israel, the center of Israel, that's where I live. And we've had quite a few red alerts, which means that all of a sudden your phone just goes off, and because we all have like apps that alert when there's going to be a Iron Dome intercepting the rockets, and obviously the siren goes off in the neighborhood and in the city, and we all run to the shelter, and we've had that a few times besides Saturday morning, which was like, I'm going to divert a little bit, but Saturday morning, 6:30, when it went off and we all like woke up. I woke up early, okay, normally on a Saturday, but around 7:45, 7 o'clock, 6:30, I never put an alarm. It just goes off. I just wake up. And when it went off, in my heart of heart, I knew that this is something different. I don't know why. I tried to go back to bed for maybe half an hour. I couldn't sleep. There were no reports yet of what happened. You know, we heard a few Iron Dome interceptions, but I decided to go to the lounge and, you know, put on the TV and watch something, which is what I normally would do if I get up too early on a Saturday before I go to exercise or whatever. And at some point, maybe around 7:15 or 7:30, I switched to Israeli TV. Normally I just like I'm on Netflix or something, and I start seeing that, you know, the usual channels, 12, 13, 11, that they're starting to report live and that something's happening. And yeah, that's it. And after a couple of hours, everybody went back to bed, my kids, my husband, and after about 2-3 hours, I woke my husband up and I said, listen, this wasn't just a red alert. It wasn't just Iron Dome intercepting a rocket. It's actually... It's I don't know what word to use, but something's going on. This is like way, way bigger than we've ever known. And that was at 10 o'clock in the morning. Like, little did we know what we were going to find out later. Yeah. And since then, it's been basically nothing. You know, the first few days, we just, you know, we were at home. Everything stopped. Just about everything stopped. Even at some point, I think the supermarkets weren't open the first couple of days. Everybody was scared. We didn't know what was going on. We were all glued to the TV and to our phones, and we kept getting, you know, on TV and everywhere, stay at home, don't go out. You know, there are terrorists out there, and you don't know where to where they might get to, and so obviously there's no school. There was no school. There is no school yet. We don't know. The kids were supposed to go back to school on Sunday or Monday, and they're saying that maybe on Sunday they'll go back, but I don't know. And I think a lot of parents are not going to send their kids, even in more the central areas.
Yeah.
The gym closed, obviously. It only opened, I think, yesterday. But again, I went to a class this morning, and it was very difficult to concentrate. At some point, we started hearing Iron Dome intercepts, even though there wasn't a red alert, and everybody started scrambling, and then the teacher just did some relaxing thing, and we just finished, because you can't concentrate on anything. You basically let alone work, let alone just about anything. You eat because you have to. You sleep at some point because you have to. And the first few nights we slept with the TV on the whole night, which we never do. And it's and amidst all that, I must say that I had a few things with clients that I needed to do, some meetings, and they asked me and I asked them, is it okay? You're okay to do the meeting? And I said, if you're okay, let's do it. And we did it on Zoom, obviously. But other than that, everything got cancelled, obviously. What else? No marketing. I can't even think of doing anything to do with marketing or business development, or I think the most I could do these days is just play around on Excel. That's the only thing that gave me some, I can't even say joy, but it was something I can do, just because it's so mechanical.
Just to keep yourself busy.
Yeah.
Not to think about the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us, I heard my husband was on the phone with his father, and he was in the bathroom, and I heard him through the door.
On Saturday?
My father-in-law, it was 6:30 in the morning, which is 8:30 in Israel. And they were just starting to get the reports. They were all the way glued to the TV. Yeah. And I just heard him say, terrorists infiltrated Israel and started shooting. And right then we knew something horrible was happening. We didn't know the details. I didn't know if my brother-in-law was safe. We didn't know where they were because they're religious, and so we didn't know if it was a Shabbat, so we didn't have any way to contact them. Eventually we found out they weren't home, luckily, because they live really close by to where it all happened. Not close by, in the middle.
Why?
And it was really hard, and we slept for that night maybe a couple of hours, and I tried to go back to sleep to catch a few more hours just to keep my strength. But really, it was really hard to even process what's been going on, what happened, and it's still happening. The war just begun. People are still losing their loved ones, the family, the friends. I keep hearing from my family members, the son of this person has died, the daughter of this person has died. A member of our previous building where we have a home in Israel did some miraculous act of saving some girl from a trunk, and while she was being kidnapped to the strip. All these stories, they keep piling up, they keep messing with our soul.
And even I keep thinking that the word story is not the right word. I'm trying to
It's not the right word.
What the right word is. It's so difficult. It's because story sounds like a story, like a story on Instagram. It's not. It's not. I can't find the right word. I wish I could find the right word.
Something that happened. I don't know how to describe it better, because it's the reality that we live through. And I was just talking to a friend who is also in Israel, living here, earlier today, and we talked about how we are all post-traumatized, no matter what age we are. As long as you're an Israeli, you've been through something. You've been through war, you've been through attacks, you've been through
fear.
Intifada back then in 2000.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot. And as a young mother, I remember there was, I don't even recall which operation, which war was it, but I remember taking both my girls. My husband was in the IDF.
It's a good time, probably in 2014.
Yeah. 13, no, maybe 14, 1 year later.
14. No,
14,
I know.
yeah.
It was 14 because I remember
there
it
were
well.
only
Very
1
well.
year. And I remember taking them. Yeah, I think I was even at the beginning of the pregnancy with my son, or just before that. And I just picked them up. I have twin girls. I just picked them up with both my hands and ran to the shelter in our apartment. And the window was closed, and I closed the door, and I was just panicked. And whenever I talk about these feelings, it all comes back again.
Listen, I'm constantly fighting an urge to vomit. It's like sitting here and I keep pushing it down, and every time there's a new name and you hear the families recounting, or you just see the names being called out on the TV, and the ages, oh my God, most of them are so young. I'm not even talking about the people from the rave. They're also mostly young, but the soldiers and from the kibbutzim there, and it's like... And
the babies and the kids. I don't know.
It's
I range from...
It's unfathomable.
Wanting to vomit and wanting to let my rage out. I don't know how else to call it.
Yeah,
to scream or to cry or to...
Yeah, and we have to keep it together because we have kids, and you can't really do that.
I just saw a drawing yesterday. I believe you saw it as well, of an artist from Haaretz. Yeah, caricature of a mother trying to protect her girl from all the evil.
Yeah, I saw this.
It describes exactly what we're feeling as mothers, as parents,
as people. Yeah, the normal person's brain can't comprehend these kind of things, especially not this day and age. Things happened, horrible things happened like this in the Holocaust in the 1930s, 1940s. Yes, ISIS. No, yes, Al-Qaeda. But you think that, these things were eradicated, and you don't think that people can be as evil these days. There is some kind of...
Yeah, there's a feeling because of technology, because of the year we're living in, the century, the decade we're living in, that everything is modern. We've gone past it.
That we
became better than the people living in 1940s, for example, our grandparents. But it's not. Humanity remained the same. Evil remained the same.
Nothing changes, huh?
Nothing changes.
I wonder if things are going to change after this. I hope that they do, because we know it's like we're missing COVID now. We think, COVID was a piece of... and it wasn't. With all due respect, it really wasn't.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it seems like, I'd rather have be in the COVID era and not in this era. And
at least with COVID, it was a virus, not people killing each other.
Not human beings, exactly.
Not human beings, and I don't...
They're not human beings, that's the whole thing.
I don't consider them human beings, no.
There are beings, I don't even know how to call them.
We were talking earlier, before we started recording, about people abroad, people on the outside looking in to Israel, trying to rationalize the attack, trying to rationalize everything that's been going on, or ignore it altogether, or not even speak. And I'm trying to explain to our friends over here who are part Jewish, part not Jewish, or English, or whatever. I'm trying to explain to them what we've been through, what we're going through right now, what our children are experiencing, even though we try to keep them away from the news. And it's really hard. I'm really lost for words right now. And even
maybe they hear this, understand it.
Hopefully, when they hear this, they could somehow relate, somehow try to comprehend some of the feelings, some of the reality that we are facing now.
Well, another reality I can tell you that my study is in the shelter in our apartment, and I can show, and I will also talk because some people will be listening on the podcast and not a video. So I found this old, very old, I think it's over 30 years old, transistor radio that works also on batteries, and it works. It took us a long time to find it in our deposit. You know, we have a deposit with a lot of things downstairs, and I gave up on finding it because we couldn't find it. And my husband the other day said to himself, no, it has to be somewhere. I thought I gave it away or threw it out, but it turns out that I kept it, and just as well. Not that I think we're going to get to use it, but you never know, because 2 or 3 days ago, everybody was panicked here because they said you have to have some kind of radio, some kind of means of communication, of getting communication that is not based on electricity. And nobody has those kind of things these days, and that doesn't rely even on Wi-Fi or internet. And who has that? But yes, I found one and it works. So I have that here. It's with batteries, obviously, and I have, you can see here, I have a mattress. If we need to sleep here, obviously I have some chairs and other things behind this curtain, and I have food and water and a bucket and chargers, you know, for the cell phones, like spare ones, cordless ones. So hopefully we won't need to use it, but we have to be prepared, and everybody's was scrambling to get all sorts of things. So another thing which I wanted to talk about, just to explain what it's like here, I'm on 1 million WhatsApp groups, the neighborhood, work, all sorts of walks of life. For just about anything, there's a WhatsApp group, and I joined some others now to deal with the civil advocacy, especially people speaking other languages like I do. They want as many as possible to put up things on their social media, and the amount of information that goes on, it's just my phone and my WhatsApp were at some point collapsing. It's always very busy, but not like this. And you can see people are not even reading what we write. I was involved in all sorts of volunteer organizations of getting food and toiletries and all sorts of things to either the soldiers or the reserve duty soldiers or people that have been evacuated from their homes. And people send messages, okay, you can bring this and this and that from this time to that place, and everything is written very clearly, yet people don't read. They keep because I also advertised a few of those, and they keep phoning me and writing to me personally, where must we bring it? And it's all written there. So you see the people, at the best of times, people are not very good at reading when it's written very clearly. Now it's even worse. At some point I was just getting so impatient because people that I know phone me and I say, but it's all written there. Nobody likes answering phone calls. And when you answer a phone call and they ask you to answer something that's already written there, and everything just you're so jumpy. And so people don't read, and people keep sending the same messages that somebody else wrote 2 minutes before. They keep sending the same videos and the same. Wow, it's crazy. Everybody's doing it because... But we do have
to say that the Israeli spirit...
Yes, I was
the volunteers.
It's amazing, yes.
Yeah, I feel even here, that everyone is united, everyone is rallying for Israel, everyone is volunteering, collecting donation, collecting food, just bombarding the soldiers, the reserves with everything that's good, everything that is...
No, it's definitely amazing.
It's
actually
really uplifting to see that from the outside, but I think living through it, it's even more uplifting, even more...
It is, but I kept thinking all the time, are these things actually going to get to the right place that they need to get to, or they're going to be thrown at some point? And
I'm sure some of it will be thrown, but most of it is getting to the right places.
I hope so. I really hope so, because people are really donating from their own pockets, and as I said, not everybody's pockets are going to be very lined up at the end of this, because not everybody's salaries are going to carry on ticking, and people that are self-employed, I suppose most are not creating much work these days, like in my case and your case as well, because you also work with Israelis. So it is very uplifting, but I think we always have to be a little bit cautious as well, because if we donate, and we've also been donating money, not just things, you have to think of yourself as well, and make sure that, and not all the banks have given extra credit or extra, I don't know, things. Some have, by the way, but and a lot of the big things, like the big systems, as big systems do, they don't work as quickly as us small people do.
Yeah.
So that's why I think there's a lot of these private initiatives. But today I started seeing that the Bituach Leumi, which is like the national, it's not like the NHS, it's more like national
national
social
insurance.
Security. Social security, I think, would be the equivalent in America. Already put up a new thing on a site with, I put it up on my Facebook, by the way, a link that explains like what to do, on what facilities there are, both financially and emotionally, if you've been like a victim of one of these crimes, or if you have if you've lost family, or even if you have a panic attack, because a lot of people are going to be panic stricken. And there's also facilities there's so many people here, and we are nothing compared to the people that are the first line, and people that have also been doing the important yet horrific work of dealing with bodies, and they're going to be traumatized for life then themselves, and will also need support. So these big organizations, these big institutions are finally doing things to show, it takes time to organize. You can't organize it within a few hours. It takes a few days. Yeah. So things are starting to, people are starting to think already about tomorrow and about next week and next month and money and all those kind of things. So, so just be careful not to, think about yourself as well, even though money is not the important thing right now.
Yeah, but it is important, because I saw someone who wrote about it earlier today on Facebook. As people living through this, as business owners, we're experiencing a different kind of anxiety, I think, on top of the regular anxiety we're experiencing, of what will happen with my business, what will happen with my income. Exactly. Because we really don't want to think about it, because we're trying to stay in the moment and trying to be there for our friends and family, and trying to be there for our kids. But it is something we're thinking about, and it is important to keep going. If you have any clients, just keep in touch, see how they are. Try to keep the work going, if you can, if it's possible.
Yeah, I think, yeah,
But
and if you have...
for some of us, it's been quite
possible.
As you said, I have only Israeli clients, and I was planning on doing a marketing event next week, and
Yeah,
I was
going
in
to
the
ask you
middle
about
of the
that.
campaign, and I just shut everything down because it's really not the time, and I don't really have the energy to deal with anything right now. So I just stopped it. I'm supposed to send a message to everyone who registered for it, and it will be postponed to another time. I don't know when. I was supposed to have a meeting today with a client, and I also postponed it to a different time because she's with her kids and she's not really available to do that. And it's hard because we have to think about now, and we have to think about how we're coping with the day-to-day, but we also have to think about the future, the next few weeks, few months, what we're going to do. So I think if we can give any advice, any thoughts about this matter that might help someone, that'd be good.
Well, as I said, the only thing I can think of really is donate, but don't go overboard if you can't afford it. There are lots of people who can afford it, by the way. I've been shown donations that are being made by millionaires who can afford it. So, good. I think
but
that's
sometimes
the
we
only thing I
can
can
donate
think of right
time
now.
or donate from our experience, our knowledge, our expertise.
Exactly.
So that's another way to participate, to help
Exactly.
another person, even if it's only just calling a friend or texting a friend on WhatsApp and asking, how are you? How are you doing? How are you dealing with the kids? How are you dealing with work? And just be there for one another.
Yeah.
And that's all I've been doing for the past few days, because that's all I can
It's all you
think
can
of.
do from where you
Yeah.
are. And I can say that on, as I said earlier, my WhatsApp and my phone are like, whoa, I've never seen them like that. But one thing that I try to do every day is go into my media and delete, because I normally hardly ever download anything that comes through my WhatsApp, because I haven't defined that way. But I do now, because there are some videos that are being sent that are important, or some pictures, or I don't know, PDFs. But I try every few hours, and certainly every day, to go through and just delete before the WhatsApp does its backup. And if it goes into my Google Photos, to also go there and delete what's not necessary. Keep some things, yes. And obviously put away in my Dropbox or wherever things that are important, but also keep the phone with space, because we can vary, in the next few days people are going to find that their phones are just like running out of space because of all these big videos that are each are a few gigabytes sometimes, or many megabytes. So try and make more space so that you can also record and you can also receive other things. I think
also a
these are the only
mental
things I can
capacity to watch videos of what's been happening. We really need to screen the intake to decide what we want to see, what's important for us to see right now. And we can empathize with other people without seeing the horrors, without seeing all the blood.
No, I'm not even talking about those kind of things. For example, friends sent me from overseas, sent me videos of rallies, support rallies that have been happening in Buenos Aires and Toronto and Vancouver, and all sorts of rallies that are pro-Palestinian, actually from South Africa, that happened I think yesterday. And you watch a few. It's like they're normally a minute or two. They're not long. I watch them once and I delete them, because I'm not even talking about the atrocities. I'm just talking about all the, which is very heartwarming, to receive support and everything. But you can see it normally on social media anyway, and you don't need to keep it. So I'm talking about even those kind of things. So that's the only kind of tip that I can think of to give. That, and donate your time, donate your abilities. If you're very good at doing something, offer, maybe it's needed somewhere, even if it's something that you think is weird. But I think these days what happened is going to ripple through every single walk of life, okay? Even in places that you don't think about, because it's literally a ripple effect, okay? Everything and everybody's affected. So your particular skills in something that you think is very esoteric might be exactly what is needed somewhere that you never thought would be needed. And if you can volunteer that, even if it's for a few days, it's also great. It doesn't have to be, as you said, money. But on that hand,
even the feeling when you're helping someone else, it's helping you to release some of the stress, to occupy yourself with something that's not related to just watching the news or being concerned with the situation.
And that's exactly why
it's really helpful
doing
to
this, by the way.
Yeah.
Why we're recording this, because it's helping us, and maybe it'll help one or two
maybe
people
it will help
as
someone.
well, even if it's to understand. And another thing I wanted to tell you or talk to you about is, a lot of people don't understand why it's happened, or about the history of the conflict. Okay, what a word. There's a lot of explanations out there. People can't say, well, I was told, I thought. No, go and read, listen, compare. Don't be brainwashed because some celebrity or some, I don't know, are supporting this. Don't be blind. Read up about it, okay? And compare sources. Read or listen, or there's a lot of celebrities that are doing amazing work in explaining things. I've discovered a lot of celebs that I didn't even know, and they're doing such amazing work. So maybe we can even put in the notes a few of the links to a few of them.
I think I have a few links to share, but I think for me, in my feeds on Instagram and Facebook, to see Jewish people, even not Jewish people, from around the world, celebrities, influencers, whatever, that I'm following, seeing them supporting, seeing them sharing, it's been really uplifting to see that.
Yeah.
And I even texted one of them, which was an entrepreneur from the US that I'm following for the past, 2 years. And she shared something about, I don't even recall what she shared, but she just put it on their story and got so many good and bad comments. So I had to support her and to let her know that it really helps. It really means something for us as Israelis, as Jews, to see people pay attention, to see people use their platforms in a right way. Yeah. And if anyone wants to reach out, DM, text, whatever, ask anything, you're more than welcome to contact us. And we'll be happy to talk to anyone about this matter or anything.